It's Wednesday, January 18th. Welcome to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I'm GHK Lall. This is the National Outlook. Midweek, and we proceed again. Opposition crafting strategy to bring Exxon bills for parliamentary scrutiny. I think that's a good thing. We have an audit that was supposed to be finished in September. It wasn't. It was extended to December. It still isn't finished. And now it's the middle of January, a little past the middle of January, and we are not hearing a single word about the state of that audit for $7.3 billion of expenses from Exxon that we have to pay, that is taken out of our oil revenues. I think that something of this nature, something of this size, belongs in Parliament for the closest scrutiny that can be had. The Public Accounts Committee, which has not been meeting because of tricks by the government, because of delays by the government, okay, let it meet now. The President has said he's made a big story that he's about transparency. Let the bills be put on the table. Let it be put on the table in Parliament so we can all see how our money is spent, what it is spent on, how much of it is spent, and whether we are getting value for our dollars. It's not a small amount of dollars. It's $7+ billion, US dollars. US dollars, $7.3 billion US dollars. That's a ton of money for a poor country like this where people can't buy basic foodstuffs. We need to get justice. Exxon spend the money legitimately, and on our projects, they must be paid. That's my side of the story. But if they have inflated their bills, which I suspect, because this is a crooked company, I will say it. Exxon is a tricky, deceptive company. It can't be trusted. It will pull the wool over our eyes, and it will look for every opportunity to deceive us, mislead us, and cheat us. It does that in the United States, so why would it do that to us? The next thing I understand that the opposition is saying is that, also in Saturday's Kaieteur News, last Saturday, was that infrastructure projects, they need to go, their bills being drafted for scrutiny in Parliament. I agree with that. The government owns these projects, then it's got to come out, the payment, the billions for those infrastructure projects have to come out of the budget money. Budget money is citizens' money, taxpayers' money, to a lot of extent. We've got to pay the debt. It's our taxes that are going into the budgets. Here's the story. These things, hundreds of millions, $1 billion here, $1 billion there, they belong in Parliament, and we need to scrutinize them to try to weed out corruption, to try to see, to come to some understanding that we are getting justice for our dollars spent. So on these two issues, the Exxon bills and infrastructure, including the gas to energy project, another $2 billion US dollars, it belongs in the full spotlight of Parliament. There are no two ways about that. This is where I stand, and I think, and again I emphasize this, because the President has said he's about transparency, and he's touted how much transparent he is, here is his opportunity to open the door for these things to go into Parliament and for them to be subject to a powerful microscope. I'm GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. You are listening to the National Outlook.